All right, we are back with part 3 and for May the 7th, and we are going to do the last part of our confusing word pairs. It is a matching section. All right, this should be pretty easy. Number 1, lose, lose. And we know that that one means to no longer have something. So that will be G. Number 2, bear, B-E-A-R. Easy one. Just important to learn both meanings. And it's going to be, obviously, number J, or letter J. An animal, or to carry a heavy or physical or emotional load. Number 3, accept. Accept means to take something that is offered. Number 4, resign. Resign. And this has to do then with to sign again, okay? A document, a letter, whatever it might be. 5, advise. And that is when we give advice, which will be L. 6, cite. This was so easy to remember because of website, all right? It is referring or having to do with a place. And I'm looking here for that number. Relates to a place. Okay, I see it now. Number I, or letter I, relates to a place, whether real or virtual. All right. Number 7, the other side, which involves vision, which is C. 8, principle. That one we learned a long time ago. And a principal is one in a leadership position in a school or a business. And that is E. The PLE type of principle refers to a rule, usually, or a guideline, the principles by which we run our business or our group, whatever it might be. All right. And number 9, then among. Among, do you remember this one? Having to do with more than 2, all right, which is K. And 10, empathy. Different from sympathy. Empathy means to know from experience how another person feels, okay? To really be able to put your feet in their shoes, so to speak. And that would be D. 11, between. Between has to do with 2 things, not more than 2 things. So in this case, it's F. So these 2 words are not tricky because they sound alike, because they don't sound alike at all, do they? Among and between. It just has to do with understanding that this is between only two people among more than two, or if you're talking about things, or, well, yeah, I mean, things in general. Among all the houses in the neighborhood, this one is my favorite, okay? It's easy sort of for us to remember between, because a lot of times it's used this way, between us, and you often say that to one person. Between us, I really don't care for the new principal at our school, okay? You're only going to tell that one person, and that might help you remember it's between two people. And the last one, 12, accept, to exclude. I would like everything on my hamburger except onions, all right? Excluding onions. All right, I hope this review was helpful to you, and that you're now ready to take on a bunch of new confusing word pairs in the next few weeks. One of the goals that I always have for you is that the things that we do really, I want them to really apply to your everyday life as much as possible. I want them to be things that when you hear them, that you can connect to them easily. And things like tricky word pairs are one of those things that when you are trying very hard and want to use correct word choice in conversation, or you want to understand what the meaning that another person is trying to convey. Certainly knowing those little differences in some of these very, very common word pairs will be helpful. All right, the last thing we're going to do in this series of 3 lessons is, again, I hope fits with our goal of supporting you in everyday conversation. So I have sent you a couple of sheets, 2 conversations that are what I'm calling expanded casual conversation. And by expanded, I mean larger, okay? Because certainly in all of the different levels that you have moved through in learning English, you have gone from the simplest conversation with only a very few words to conversations that increasingly add more words. But what is difficult, I think, oftentimes for you is to know how to continue a conversation, how to keep it going, and to know if that is appropriate or not. I want you to think about the fact that we Americans do enjoy conversation. We enjoy small talk. And so sometimes we might have some business to take care of, but we will often expand, widen our conversation to include other things. And we do that because it is sort of a friendly manner we have of communicating with others. So that's kind of the goal in these conversations and in more that we will be doing in coming weeks. The first one is a conversation topic that you have seen 100 times with your English education, and that is how to ask for a favor. But what we want to consider here is expanding this. This is a conversation between neighbors, Anne and Nitty. And they know each other, not always extremely well, but their children play sometimes, and they talk outside, and they know that the other, that they care for one another, okay? And they're very friendly with each other. But nevertheless, asking a neighbor for a favor can feel a little bit uncomfortable. The best way to ask the neighbor for a favor is to do favors for your neighbor, by the way. Do something nice here and there. And when it comes time to ask for a favor, you'll feel a lot more comfortable about that. But we're going to assume that these ladies have a good relationship. So let's begin. Read along with me. Anne is speaking here. Hi, Needy. How are things with you? This is, by the way, a phone conversation. Needy says, oh, I'm fine. Just trying to keep my kids entertained and out of trouble. How about you guys? All right, you hear that informal? How about you guys? Anne replies, doing pretty well, although Lily is sick and I'm stuck in the house with her. It's the pits. When we say it's the pits, we mean, it's in, a pit is a hole, so it's like we're in a hole, okay? Again, casual, common. Needy says, oh, sorry to hear that. What's going on with Lily? Is there anything I can do? Okay. Anne. She has a stomach virus. Ugh. I heard it's going around in her classroom, so I'm not too surprised. It's no fun for her and a lot of work for me. I just hope the whole family doesn't get it. All right. Instead of just answering the question, she has a stomach virus. Anne converses a little bit about it. She shares a little bit more and includes a little bit of her own feeling about it. Ugh, you know, I hope the whole family doesn't get it. Needy responds casually, for real? Stomach viruses are the pits. But what can I do for y'all? There is something I need if it's not too much trouble, all right? Needy says, sure, ask away. Ask away is a phrasal verb. And it means ask anything you want. I'm always happy to do what you need or to help you. Ask away. Very casual, but very reassuring way to answer. Anne says, would it be possible for you to make a grocery store run for me? I just need a few things. Lily's virus caught me off guard. I wasn't prepared. Off guard means wasn't prepared. Now, Anne is going to ask this with a little bit of hesitation. Would it be possible for you to go to the grocery store? But she's not going to ask it with a great deal of apology, all right? We have to be careful when we ask something in a very apologetic tone. It almost sounds like we're feeling sorry for ourselves or something, or that we don't have confidence. Would it be possible for you to maybe possibly go to the grocery? Okay, you see, that starts to sound a little bit, yeah, okay? So it's all right to say, would it be possible for you to go to the grocery store? For you to run to the grocery store? We use the word run a lot of times, which doesn't literally mean run. It means make a little trip. Needy says, of course, happy to do that, okay? Notice that she isn't using the subject I here. It is assumed. Happy to do that, which is a more casual way of speaking. Of course, happy to do that. I plan to go anyway. So, what may I pick up for you? All right? So, we use that a lot of times. It sounds like we're singing to just kind of continue on our conversation. So, what can I get for you? All right? Anne says, how about I put a list in your mailbox in a few minutes? Okay, again, kind of an informal way. How about I do something? I noticed that I said in my kind of southern way of talking, I said bout. I caught myself. You probably wouldn't do that. You would probably say how about. But when we are very casual, sometimes it comes out as bout. How about I do that? Needy says, that's great. I'll be leaving around 11. Is there anything else I can pick up for you while I'm out? I can stop by the pharmacy or wherever. Just say the word. Okay? just say the word. That's another way of saying ask away. Say what you need. I'm happy to do it. When you use phrases like that with your American friends, they will feel comfortable with you. They will know that you are sincere. When you say, just say the word, I'm happy to do whatever you need. The word being, what is your need? Or that thing that you need. Anne replies, I think that's it, but I'll text you if something else comes to mind. You're a lifesaver. All right? It's so wonderful that we can, text our neighbors and friends, and it's fine to say, if something else comes to mind, I'll send you a text. Because sometimes when we're in these situations and we can't get out for whatever reason, it's good to be able to do that. Just week before last, I think, my neighbor was out at her mailbox as I was going to the grocery store. And I rolled the window down and I just said, hey, how are you? And she said, we're doing fine. And I said, well, I'm on my way to Kroger. Can I bring anything? And she said, oh, it would be so great because we just need milk and I need one small carton of eggs. And she told me the brand of milk that she liked. And I said, no problem. And text me if you think of anything else. So that was easy. I brought those items to my neighbor. I was happy to do it. So Anne says, you're a lifesaver. And Needy replies, oh, no big deal. Always happy to help. Again, you hear that she didn't say, I'm always happy to help. Casual conversation. I think I must owe you a million favors anyway. So obviously, Anne has done some nice things for her in the past. I'll see you a little later with the groceries. Anne, thank you so much, Needy. You're the best. See you later. All right. So this conversation, while there's nothing earth-shattering about it, it's not a difficult conversation to have, but it is a much more typical example of a conversation that you might have with a friend or a neighbor who is American. And it fits with the style in which we would normally do that. Now, I will say, if I had a neighbor who was an elderly person and he or she behaved all the time in a very formal manner, they always spoke, perfect King's English, so to speak, I might speak to that person a little more formally. But those people who are our casual acquaintances, we can soften and ease up. And we don't need to feel so tense about saying every word just right. In fact, if you stumble over some things and you yourself kind of, laugh along with that, go, oh, I'm not sure how to say that. I meant to say, ask away, and it didn't come out quite right. That person is going to share that little chuckle with you and probably help to remind you, how to say what you want to say. But take that risk. We'll do another one of these conversations when I come back with next week's first lesson. I'm going to stop for today and go get some lunch. And I hope you're doing great. I miss you all. I really, really, really do. Bye.